A very good evening to all my dear students. On behalf of ICAI, we welcome you for today's class. A new session, a new chapter, that is registration of charges. Good evening, Pragya Agarwal, Soumya. Even I'm glad to see all you students back in the class. Thank you so much, Miss Soumya, Mr. Almas, Miss Almas, Kevin, Rajvi, Ritika. Good evening, Anushka, Pragya. All those students who have joined with us on the portal also, a very warm welcome to the class. So I hope you have revised what we have done in the previous class. We have completed acceptance of deposits. Any doubts related to that, you can ask me. And as discussed, that I'll be taking a small test of yours related to acceptance of deposits, and then we will be moving ahead to the new chapter. Or maybe we'll start the new chapter and in between I'll try to take a test so that I can be doubly sure that my students have actually revised what we have done in the previous class. Good evening, Priyanka Pandey, Kiran, Naina, Khushi, all of you, welcome to the class. So let's start the chapter registration of charges. Any doubts in acceptance of deposits before we proceed ahead? Otherwise, I will be taking your test for sure related to that chapter so that we can assess how well you have studied. All right. So we have done preliminary. The first module, so Companies Act, you have CA Intermediate Law Syllabus, 3 modules. So the first module is having first 6 chapters of Companies Act, starting with the preliminary, having the basics, that is your definitions. Then we learned about how the company is incorporated, what is the procedure, what is the process of forming and setting up a company, if it's a public company, private company, OPC, different types of companies. Even I would call chapter number 1 and 2 in itself is a complete package together, because some companies are over there, like small companies. But then you learn about OPCs in chapter 2. So it's a combined chapter number 1 and 2 in which you have a detailed discussion about types of companies as well as the incorporation. Something which is related to your CA foundation base that you have set up in the last chapters, that is the Companies Act, where you start. Extension of that is given in chapter number 1. Fair enough? Then we proceed towards prospectus, which was all together a new chapter, in which you have learned about how the company is going to ask and raise money from the public. If you're a private company, you're going for private placement, what the GDRs are all about. And there the chapter ends, where we have concluded till the private placement. After that, I'm just trying to tell you how beautifully companies law is connected and how you have to retain and remember the information. Then, since you have heard about we are going to the market, we are coming up for the securities. So the securities were shares, debentures, bonds. So you have extensive chapter related to share capital and debentures, where we have TVRs, preference shares, bonus shares, which in itself, a respective section is another question. So if you're doing bonus shares, detailed analysis of bonus shares, revise it. DVRs है, DVRs अलग से revise कर. राइट्स इशू है, राइट्स इशू को रिवाइज कर लिया. मतलब वो अपने आप में एक एक क्वेश्चन एक्सक्लूसिव. Similarly, in prospectus we were having, but prospectus is still very much interrelated. Shelf prospectus, RHP is again exclusive questions related to their own headings. But share capital and debentures is at length. If we speak, it's all individual. Debentures in itself is another, we can call it a smaller chapter of chapter number. And then starting from debentures, where we learned about debenture trustee, we heard about how debenture holders meetings are conducted. We moved to the similar kind of chapter, that is deposit. There also we had a deposit trustee. There also we had deposit holders meetings, acceptance of deposit. The definition was very important. The first part of the chapter is having mostly the definition and then the eligibility criteria, how much maximum deposits you are raising, how the registers have to be maintained. So chapter number 5 we have done, till chapter number 5 we have done, and today we are going to start the 6th chapter, that is the last chapter of module 1, book 1. So why I repeated all this history in front of you? just to tell you that we are about to wind up first one book of Companies Act. And you have been revising it like good students with me. I have been asking you questions, you have been answering, which makes us feel proud that yes, you have been learning it. So please be regular, because after this, you'll be moving to book number 2. You have another length of chapters in that. So whatever you have done till now, your notes should be complete. Your study material should be highly updated, highlighted as and where required. मतलब वो आपके टिप्स में होना चाहिए बुक 1 जब एक बारी आपका कंप्लीट हो जाए. So by this weekend, just make your notes complete. Your book 1 should be complete with you. I understand somewhere revision must be left, but once we are done with registration of charges, we have today one class, and then we have on 30th registration of classes, second class. So I'll try to take a test in the next class also, but only humble request, as I always tell you, be regular with all the chapters. All right. So let's move. Yes, that is so nice. Priyanka Pandey has written, yes, ma'am, by flipping the pages, we are learning whatever you have taught us. So that's wonderful, Priyanka, and I'm glad. Good, Pragya Agarwal, glad to receive your response also on the same. So that is how beautifully you all have to do it. And children, trust me, when your notes are complete, your everything is there in front of you, ना, वो डर कम लगता है. डर तब लगता है जब तैयारी नहीं, लेक्चर मिस हो गया, वीडियो नहीं देखी, रिकॉर्डिंग रहती है. So then you're just piling up your stuff. Then you're just building a burden on your mind. So be regular. Try to be consistent as much as possible. We are humans. We cannot be very consistent forever, but at least we can make an effort, so that, because efforts always get counted. All right. With this note, let's start the new chapter, that is registration of charges. Now, again, the chapter starts with a very, very familiar word, that is charge. So what is this charge? Are we talking about the battery charges, or are we talking about what kind of charge you have to take? Are you class in charge? What is this word charge? What is this meaning of the word charge? Okay, Asta Sethi, we will take a quick recap of 76A also. I'll in between, then I'll take you to the deposits. Thoda sa pehle registration of charges we'll study, and then we will go back in some of the provisions of acceptance of deposits. Okay. Hypothecation, mortgage of assets, Rajbir says security. Soumya says when we get the money, like mortgaging of assets. Good, Priyanka, all of you are good. Kevin, right, it's a lien, it's a pledge. Elnaz says it's a mortgage. So generally, the charge comes with the security of assets, something which you're going to give as a security. So let's take a basic example. Mr. A went to bank to take a loan. Mr. A is a businessman, and he was in a need of loan of rupees 1 lakh. Now, how the bank is going to give him the loan? Bank will see his creditability, his CIBIL score, his income statements, his ITRs will be seen, returns will be seen, what kind of person he is, what kind of business he is doing. And by making the bank satisfied itself that yes, this person will be able to repay my loan, bank will give him a loan of 1 lakh. But bank always have a doubt whether this 1 lakh will come back or not. So bank will ask Mr. A that why don't you give me something in return as a security? Some of your buildings or some of your assets, which I can keep as a security with me. And the moment you repay my loan, so 1 lakh is a small loan, I think gold would be fine in that case. So you can give certain amount of gold if you have at home. Don't sell your gold. Give it to me, 1,50,000 gold. I will keep it in the locker as a security. The day you will come and give me back my 1 lakh, I will safely give your gold back. We have heard about these kind of transactions. We have heard and we have done questions related to these kind of things, related to sale of goods also when you will see a foundation. We have learned about the words mortgage and pledge. So again, the chapter begins from things that you have already heard, that is the word security. So what has Mr. A given over here? He has given a security. So he can say that a charge has been created against my gold. किसी को लियन दे दिए, किसी की पोजीशन में हमने goods दे दिए, सेल नहीं करे, but a charge has been. But here I took an example of Mr. A. Mr. A is a sole proprietor. We are doing companies. So we cannot have sole proprietors over here. We have to have a company. Let's take an example of a company, that is ABC Limited. Company has taken a loan from a bank for 1 lakh, and this company has given his building, his house as a charge. And now this company has to do registration of charges. Mr. A ने अगर loan लेकर पैसे लिया and some mortgage has been given, he is not required to get the charge registered because he's an individual, he's a sole proprietor. Chapter 6 of Companies Act 2013 has been made for companies which are giving their assets as a charge, borrowing money from the money lenders, and the security, whatever they have given. They basically need to go and intimate ROC, Registrar of Companies, that look, these assets are lying as a charge with respective banks. That is what broadly this chapter is on. So we'll be covering the definition of charge over here. Duty to register charges. So whose duty it is? I just mentioned to you whose duty it is to register the charges. It is company's duty. Very good. It is company's duty. Thank you so much, Miss Priyanshi Tak. I have read your message and I'm so blessed to read such kind of lines. It is all your efforts, children, that you make so that you find the chapters easy, and it is all your attentiveness. That's why the things become so simple. Thank you. Yes, everyone good. It's company's duty to get the charges registered. So it is very, very important. This whole topic, this whole chapter revolves around how the charge needs to be get registered, whose duty it is to get the charge registered, and what happens if the charge is not registered. Like there in all the other chapters, when we were doing contraventions related to deposits or any other contraventions we were doing, certain penalties were there. So here also in the second lecture, we will understand what happens if certain charges are not registered. So let's assume if I am a company and I have taken a loan of 1 lakh from HDFC Bank. So now if I don't get this charge registered, then bank will go and get this charge registered. That is under section 78. So here we will do first the definition of charge, that is given under section 2, clause 16, which when we did the chapter of preliminary, we just read 2 lines. A charge is a security created against the borrowing. And I told you that when you will be doing chapter number 6, here you will be talking in length. So today we'll be doing detailed definition of the word charge, like we did the definition of securities and prospectus, like we did the definition of debentures, like we did the definition of deposits. Now we'll be doing the definition of charge. Section 77 tells you it is company's duty, it's company's responsibility to get this charge registered with ROC. So we will understand whole of the process, how the process operates. Before that, we have 2 types of charges, which is included in the definition and meaning only. So at length, we'll have a discussion on fixed charge and floating charge, which by its name, it simplifies that fixed is something like a fixed asset, floating seems something like a current asset. So how these assets are given as a charge, that is the beauty of this chapter. That is the first part, fixed and floating. After that, the company has to get a charge registered under section 77, and if company fails to do it, the charge holder, that is the bank, will have to get the charge registered. Once section 78 is done, then section 80 to 87 are very, very simple. What happens when the date of notice is given, how the register of charges, like we kept the register of debentures, register of deposits. So you have to maintain separate registers. After this, when you move to management and administration, there the first topic is only related to how the registers are to be maintained. There are registers of members, register of debenture holders, register of shareholders, but respective chapters have their own registers, like whatever charges have been created, their entries have to be marked in this respective register. How the satisfaction of charge happens, this is very important. The meaning of satisfaction of charge, you gave me this 1 lakh loan to ABC Limited and they gave you their house as a mortgage. Now the company is giving back your 1 lakh please make my asset free from charge. Somebody has blocked your asset. You cannot sell it. Somebody has अपने कब्जे में ले लिया, mortgage कर दी. ठीक है ना? So then that time your asset is locked over here. But once you repay the loan, your asset gets free. So that is what section 82 and 83 will tell us, how the satisfaction of charges happen. So somebody tomorrow, you become a chartered accountant and you start working with a bank. So in banks, CAs have major roles in credit department. So there you will be practically doing all these things. What kind of form has to be taken from these employees, from the customers? What kind of charge has been created? Because you will be sanctioning the loans, you will be in disbursements. So you have to do practical aspects of these kind of things. That is why this chapter is very, very important for the Companies Act. And what punishment and rectifications under section 86 and 87 tells us what are the penalties, how the rectification can be done if some charge has been wrongly entered, what can you do to make it rectify, and how the changes can be made. Clear? So we have discussed a chapter overview. Now let's start the first topic, that is definition of charge. Section 2, clause 16 of the Companies Act defines the word charge. Now, what is the meaning of the word charge? The first word that is written, it is an interest or lien. First, you can see this beautiful picture given over here. How the banker is operating, he is a charge holder. The words where charge holder is used, you have to keep in mind that they are talking about the banks, again, to whom you have given your property as a charge. So he is giving you dollars, money is over here, and you have given your assets. And now this is actually ROC who is registering your charges. This charge needs to get registered. Money has been given to you against the security that you have provided, and now this charge needs to get registered. So what is the meaning of the word charge? It's an interest or lien. Now, where have you heard the word lien before this under any other act? Have you heard the word lien? Yes? Okay. What do you mean by the word lien? Others also, please tell. It's an interest, it's a position. Sale of Goods Act, very good. Yes, you have heard under unpaid seller. So what used to happen in case of unpaid seller? If I have sold the goods and you have not paid my money, then I become unpaid seller, and then I was exercising a lien on your goods. I was keeping the goods अपने कब्जे में ले लेना, छुपा लेना. But I was having the possession of goods. So lien can only be exercised, number one, if you have the possession of the goods. So in my example that I explained you in the previous slide, ABC Limited Company has given their property to bank. So now, who is exercising lien on my property? HDFC Bank will create a charge on my property. He's having a lien. He's having a hold. Means in whose possession the goods are lying, they are having a lien on my property. Lien is created on the property or assets of a company or any of its undertakings. Undertakings means the companies, associates, subsidiaries, or any other undertaking. Any company in which a company is having 20% of the stake, it becomes its undertakings. Okay. So undertakings includes your subsidiaries and associates. So I can give the assets of my ABC Limited was a company. It took a loan from the bank for rupees 5 lakhs. But it does not have sufficient assets. It has a subsidiary DEF Limited. Can ABC Limited give the property of DEF Limited against this loan of 5 lakh rupees? Yes, ma'am or no, ma'am? Absolutely correct. Yes, because that is what is written in the second line. You can create a charge on the assets of your own company or any of its undertakings, means subsidiary associates will also be in, or even both. I can say I will give you a property of 2,50,000. My subsidiary will give you a property of 2 lakh. That is also possible. So, or both is also important. MCQ can come. Either of undertakings or only of yourself, or you can give for both. So, both is also allowed. It is created as a security for repayment of loan. So, you are giving the things as a security कि कल को अगर हम आपका पैसा नहीं देते हैं तो आपके पास हमारी प्रॉपर्टी पड़ी हुई. What will bank do? HDFC Bank was to be repaid on 5 lakh rupees on 5th May 2023. You became a defaulter. You did not repay. What is HDFC Bank going to do? They will sell off your security. You will sell the property and recover their money. So this is basically security given for the repayment of. But tell me one thing. Can the bank sell your asset before the due date of payment? Reason? You have given correct answer. No is very valid and logical point. No is the correct answer. Very good, Anushka, Dhanush, all of you. Why no? Because bank is exercising a lien on the goods. He is not the owner of your goods. He is only having the possession of the goods. Miss Shailaja, Miss Kiran, Mohammed, Farhan, excellent all of you. Very good. If date is passed, then yes, absolutely, Priyanshita. Once the date has passed, then only he can sell the goods. Before that, he's only having the lien on the goods. He only has the possession. He is not the owner of the goods. So first point is clear that it's a lien or a charge or interest. I will explain the word interest in a while. Created on the property or assets of the company, any of its undertakings bhi ho gaya, security diya hai, repayment. Charge includes mortgage. Who can tell me what is the meaning of the word mortgage and why was there a need to give a word mortgage over here? What is the meaning of the word mortgage? क्या होता है mortgage? बताओ मुझे. Everybody, I want all of you to answer. Mrs. Garima, good. Mortgage is basically guarantee. Okay, Mr. Kevin said it's a kind of a guarantee given. Okay. Pledging of the assets. So, Soumya, mortgage and pledge is same. Real estate ke liye mortgage. Okay. Mortgage is for immovable property. Okay, Rohit, what have you written for money? Rohit Ranjan. Mortgage is given against the loan as an evidence that the loanee will not run. That means he will repay. Girvi rakhwana. Naina, very good. Almas, excellent. So basically, charge was the same meaning. So why are we saying charge includes mortgage? Because, yes, Shalini, immovable assets. Very good, all of you. So basically, he's trying to tell you that in the chapter of charge, you have both movable as well as immovable assets. So we are not just having the word pledge. When we have movable goods, we use the word pledge. Like I told you, I have pledged my gold and taken a loan. So that is the meaning of pledge when we use in sense of movable goods. But it includes mortgage. Mortgage is basically used for the immovable assets. Immovable assets are land and building, machineries, all those fixed assets. So we have mortgage. The charge includes mortgages. Hypothecation of assets is done. Now, how are you going to hypothecate your assets? So let's assume, let me take your names only. Mrs. Shalini is running a company, Shalini Private Limited, and she takes a loan from HDFC Bank. Now she wants to give her house as mortgage to the bank. So will Shalini pick up her house and go and give it to the bank? It's an immovable asset. What are you going to give to the bank? You cannot go and give your house. Gold I always went because it's a movable gold. I will pick it up and I'll give it to the bank. If I have to give certain jewelry or any other assets, I will movable. I can always pick up. But how can I pick up? The documents. Excellent, all of you. The documents or property papers. Purchase deed, transfer deeds. Excellent. Wonderful students in my class. So that is the meaning of the word interest or lien. लियन होता है कि ये मूवेबल गुड है, मैंने इसको अपने कब्जे में ले लिया. अब इंटरेस्ट क्या होता है कि आपने मुझे ट्रांसफर प्रॉपर्टी पेपर्स दिए हैं. यू हैव गिवन मी द प्रॉपर्टी पेपर and I have taken them in my custody. So if these kind of papers, documents have been given to me, so I have interest in your property. I have not become the owner. I'm just kept your property papers with me in the locker. The moment you will come and repay my loan, your documents will be given. So this example was to explain you the meaning of the word interest or lien created on the property or assets of the company or any of its undertaken. It is created as a security for the repayment of loan, and also the charge word includes mortgage. Clear, everyone? Definition of charge is absolutely clear to everyone. Now, there are two types of charges. One is fixed charge, one is floating charge. Without looking into your study material, can you tell me what is the meaning of fixed and floating? What do you understand by the word fixed and floating? Samesh Singh, Rihanna, Garima, good children. So fixed charges is against the fixed assets, and floating are like stocks and other things. Very good, very good. Soumya, Sabha, Rajveer, Ray, Kevin, Priyanka, Anushka, all of you, good children. So what is the meaning of a fixed charge? It is a charge on specific assets. So these specific assets are always fixed assets like land and building, machinery of the borrowing company. Here the charge is created on the fixed assets of the borrowing company. These assets are of permanent nature like machinery, office premises, and they can be identified at the time of creation of charge. So if I am a company and I want to give my whole office as a security for taking the loan from the bank, so it must be in existence. I cannot say that something which is going to come into existence, I will give. Then that is not a fixed charge. That will be a kind of a floating charge, which is not in existence. So it should be of permanent nature. It should already be identified and it should be existing when the charge is being created. क्लियर है? सो फिक्स चार्ज एक ऐसा चार्ज है जो स्पेसिफिक एसेट्स के ऊपर है ऑफ द बोरोइंग कंपनी. बोरोइंग कंपनी मींस द कंपनी व्हिच इज बोरोइंग मनी फ्रॉम द बैंक्स. ओके, मिस भव्या, मैमिदी सेती, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. Naina, good. So these are the assets of permanent nature like land and building, machinery, and they are identified at the time of creation of assets. This is usually done by way of mortgage or by depositing the title deeds. What is title deeds? We just discussed. Title deeds are the ownership documents which are given. So घर के गिरवी कागजात गिरवी रखवा देना बैंक के साथ ना, हिंदी में अगर हम कहते हैं. So that is the meaning of mortgaging your property. When the charge is created on such assets, the charge remains fixed. The borrowing company is not allowed to sell such assets during the period of charge, though it may use them. Let's understand with the help of an example. There is a company, ABC Limited. They have created a charge against office building. So we understood, ma'am, office building. Just showed us even documents mortgaged with been created. Now, when bank is having these document papers, we will say a charge is there against my office building. Can ABC Limited sell this office to another company, that is PQR Limited? They have got a good deal and the PQR Limited wants to buy this office building. Can ABC Limited sell it? Ms. Soumya was the first one to say no, ma'am. Others? Why do you say no? You're correct, all of you. When you say no, it's correct. Give me logic also, ना? तो पता ही है नहीं सेल कर सकते. मैम ने क्वेश्चन पूछे तो यस तो होगा नहीं, नो ही होगा ना, तभी पूछा है. It is fixed. Okay, Rajveer says because it is fixed. Because remember, free from incumbrances of charges. The word which we have heard. Sunil Kumar, you can type your query. No need to raise your hand, child. You can type it in the chat box. Because we have mortgaged it. Because I am although the owner of this, but my property papers are lying with the bank. I will first have to repay my loan, then I can sell. Because they are not free from charge. The goods, whenever you're selling, so whenever you buy a second-hand car also from someone, you should always see the documents, papers of the RC of the car. Hope nobody is having a charge on the car because car is floating over here. It might have been created given as a charge. So ये थोड़ी ना आप गाड़ी खड़ी कर आ जाओगे कि charge create हो गया आप गाड़ी नहीं खड़ी रहे. You can be allowed to use the car. So he says though you may be using those assets, usage के ऊपर मना नहीं है. He's not saying that you cannot use those assets, but yes, when the charge has been created on the fixed assets, you cannot sell them until you have paid the money. And however, there is no prohibition on using. So it's a very important line. Usage is allowed, but selling of the fixed assets when the charge has been created is not. Mr. Sunil Kumar, you can type in the chat box. No need to raise the hands. Clear? सबको clear हो गया? But assets under fixed charge can be sold with the permission or the consent of the charge holder. In our example, ABC Limited has taken the loan of 5 lakhs, right? Against the charge of house and building, office building from HDFC Bank. Please tell me who is the charge holder? Who is the charge holder? Company is a charge holder or bank is a charge holder? Tell me. All of you, everybody, ICICI Bank kahan se aa gaya, Pragya Agarwal? We are having HDFC Bank over here. So HDFC Bank will be the charge holder. Okay, all of you agree to this? Absolutely correct. Anandruthi, very good. Naina, Shelija. Sunil Kumar, yes, correct. Bank is a charge holder. Now, what are they trying to say? Now, I have got a good deal to sell my office building to PQR Limited. So, I went to HDFC Bank. I asked them, look, bank, I have got this deal. Can I sell my office building to PQR? अभी 2 मिनट पहले आपने मुझे कहा था, no, you cannot sell. So, now I'm going to take permission from my charge holder. I'm not going to ask you. I will go to my bank. I will tell them that I am an honest customer. I have always been repaying my loan. Here I've got a good deal for my building. Can I sell it? So why the charge holder will give me the permission? Won't he be scared that then the building will go with somebody else's name? Then bank will tell them that we are okay with you. If you want to sell that building to PQR Limited, make sure either you repay the loan or PQR Limited repays the loan. So law says any asset in the fixed charge, number one, you cannot sell the asset, you can only use it. But if the charge holder bank permits you, might be their PQR Limited are also good customers, or if HDFC, they might be borrowing money again from HDFC only to buy this house. So bank को भी फायदा दिख रहा है. So bank बोलेगा हमें कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. अगर आपका लोन PQR Limited रीपे कर देगा तो आप PQR को दे दो. बस हमारे यहाँ पे प्रॉपर्टी पेपर्स में नाम चेंज करा देना. Or you repay a loan and debts. Is that clear, everyone? So it's very, very simple and it is allowed. First, it says it is not permitted. But if charge holder bank feels that it is okay, they don't have any objection, then you can sell it, but only with the permission and consent of the charge. A fixed charge is vacated when the money borrowed against the assets against this charge is repaid in full. So the moment you repay this loan of 5 lakh rupees along with the interest, your charge will get free. Now you don't have to ask anybody or the banks or anybody else. So 5th May 23 was the date. You repaid the loan, your charge became free. Now you sell your office building, you do whatever. Anubhav is asking, assets are identified at the time of creation. Ka matlab hota hai that we have decided these are the assets which we are going to give as a charge. It should not be that the assets will be coming into existence. Say, for example, I told you that I will be buying a machinery 5 months later, that will be given. No, they should be existing. They should be identified when the charge is created. And also, once the money borrowed has been returned, then the asset gets free from the charge. So first point is your definition against permanent nature, borrowing companies giving the assets. Second is by the way of mortgage or deposit deeds. Third is you cannot sell it, but yes, you can use it. Can ABC Limited keep on doing the business in this office building, or you need to vacate the office building? Tell me. If you have given the office building as a charge, can I still run my business in that building? Yes, yes, of course you can, because it is only a hypothecation of the documents that has been done. Only when you don't repay, the bank will come and sell your house. And I cannot sell it, but however, I can sell it if who permits me, if the charge holder consent has been taken. And the last point says, if charge will get free, the asset will get free from the charge once my money is repaid. Clear, everyone? Now let's talk about the floating charges. What is the meaning of floating charge? Floating in itself, the word means fluctuating or changing in nature. Something that keeps changing, like raw materials, stock and trade, debtors, all these kind of things are the floating charges. Okay, just a second. Okay. Just a second. So now the floating charge is a fluctuating charge, means it keeps in changing in nature. What is the meaning of raw material, stock and trade debtors? Can I give a charge to the bank that I am running a store, a grocery store, where I have different kinds of biscuits, chips, chocolates, everything is lying in my shop. I'm running a good departmental store. All the other kind of stuffs are lying in my shop. And I took a loan of 10 lakh rupees and I told the bank that I don't have any fixed assets. The shop that I'm running is also on rent. I pay rent for that. So I don't have any fixed asset to give you as a security. So bank said, don't worry, this beautiful departmental store that you're running, you have so much of stock lying over here. Why don't you create a charge against this raw material, the stock and trade? Sorry, it is not raw material, it is stock and trade. Raw material तो वो है ना जो भी finished goods में convert होता this is my stock which I'm running, opening and closing stock every month. I'll be balancing. More stock will be added. More stock will be sold. So it keeps on doing. You keep on doing your business. It keeps on changing. The assets will keep on changing because the company is permitted to use them for trading or producing the final. So if it is a raw material, you will be converting it into finished products. And if it is a stock, you'll be selling it in the market. So trading means selling it in the market. So assets under floating charge keeps changing. It is a charge upon present and future assets. So fixed charge may abhi I told you when Anubhav Malik also asked that identified means I told you that it cannot be futuristic. Fixed assets should be existing. But here the floating charge, the assets can be on both present assets or future assets. How come future assets? Because say for example in my shop, departmental store, which I have given as a floating charge, I have 10 packets of Parle-G today. So bank said, okay, all these other stuff also, and then these 10 packets of Parle-G, everything is as a floating charge. So tomorrow the customer came, I sold all the 10. So now there is no Parle-G biscuits, but there are other stuff on which you have a charge. So it might be existing. Tomorrow 20 more packets came. So now if the charge is being repaid, so you have a 20 packets. So it keeps on changing. Stock and trade will keep on changing. It keeps on moving. But fixed charge remains fixed. You are 100% sure, the bank is sure that this much amount is always going to recover. I will sell it off, I'll sell the property if he will not repay my loan, and I will recover my loan. But in the floating chart, the assets are the class of assets that keep on changing. There's always a dilemma in the mind of bank that tomorrow, if this person closes his shop और ताला लगा दे दुकान में, तो मेरा तो सारा सामान गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. He might, this company might take the stuff home, or the stock gets destroyed, or whatever so happens. So how can I try to insure myself? So in floating charge, it says crystallization of floating charge is done at times. In certain situations, four such cases we'll be discussing, where the charge holder feels that please crystallize it. Crystallize means freeze कर. आपने डिपार्टमेंटल स्टोर मेरे को फ्लोटिंग चार्ज में दिया, आप पार्ले जी बिस्किट्स बेच रहे हो और आ रहे हैं, सेल हो रहे हैं, परचेज हो रहे हैं, योर बिजनेस इज मूविंग, इट्स ओके. But now I have had a doubt that tomorrow your biscuit manufacturing will stop, or your other products will not come. I have certain kind of insecurity that you might breach my terms and conditions. So here I am going to request you that freeze my floating charge. Let's convert the floating charge into a fixed charge. When does it happen? When the creditor gives the security due to the breach of terms and conditions of floating charge, or the company. So if there is any breach of terms and conditions happening, you were told something by the charge holder and you're not doing it. So there was a case, let's take an example. So HDFC Bank told me that, okay, last time you gave us your office building, it was a good fixed charge. This time you give us your entire stock in trade as a security against the loan of rupees 1 lakh. Now the stock in trade, the valuation that we did, now I am giving you a loan of 1 lakh. You cannot say that I have only 50 rupees chips in my market in the shop right now and that is my security. No, the valuation of the stock will be done by the registered value, and at least somewhere above 1,50,000 stock should be there in the shop. That can be against which the charge can be created. How the charge is created is not at all your role to understand in this chapter. We simply have to understand what is a charge, fixed charge and floating. So I'm taking a very soft example in my own language. That is 1,50,000. I am assuming that this was the valuation of stock and trade and this was given as a floating. Now this HDFC Bank imposed a condition on me that you keep on buying and selling the stock out of this 1,50,000. But at any day, the stock valuation should not go below 1,10,000. उसने कहा आप सामान खरीदते रहो, बेचते रहो, आप बिजनेस करते रहो, बट किसी भी टाइम पे 1,10,000 से नीचे आपकी वैल्यूएशन स्टॉक की जानी नहीं चाहिए. अपने आप को सिक्योर्ड कर लिया ना, क्रेडिटर इन्फोर्सेस द सिक्योरिटी, उसने अपनी सिक्योरिटी को इन्फोर्स कर लिया, उसने अपनी सिक्योरिटी को और स्ट्रॉन्ग बना लिया कि हाँ ये 1,10,000 तो बनाई रहे. बट दिस एबीसी लिमिटेड, it was so involved and engrossed in selling the goods. A customer came, and when the valuation was 1,10,000, he said, I want to buy goods of 50,000 rupees. अब कोई दुकानदार मना थोड़ी ना करेगा, इतना अच्छा कस्टमर सामने 50,000 दे रहे. He said, okay, okay, take it. So now the valuation 50,000 less. So how much valuation is left now? Now only 60,000 stock is left. So maybe he is of the mindset that maybe after a week's time, I will refill the stock. But as of now, the value of the stock has gone down below the amount that the creditor has fixed. So here the creditor can enforce the security because you have breached the terms and condition. HDFC Bank will come running to your shop. He will say, you have breached the terms and condition. Let's freeze the charge. Now you cannot sell below this limit. So crystallization means where fixing of the charge happens. So now your floating charge is converted into a fixed charge. Another point can be, this is one point, another can be when the company goes into liquidation. Now the company is winding up. The company is going to shut down its business. Then again, the lender will ask for the crystallization because now the company's assets will be going. So let's freeze the floating charge so that you are responsible to pay a minimum. Floating charge will become fixed on all the assets available on that date. This is known as crystallization of a floating charge. All right. So let us see all this content from the study material also once. Somebody has asked about 76A also. We'll be showing you the same also in the study material. All right. So this is what we have all discussed. So loan is taken and the charge is created against the property or assets. Everyone is clear about this infraction of charge. We have already discussed section 77 to 87. We'll be doing in this chapter. Interest and lien can be of company, any of its undertaking or both. So please mark wherever I tell you ना, it can be important for MCQ. तो study material पे side से mark कर दिया करो ताकि आपको याद रहे कि इस पे MCQ बन सके. Given as a security charge includes mortgages. All right. So this is your fixed and floating charge that we have been discussing. Let's do example number 1. Pearl Electronics Limited has raised a term loan of 10 lakhs from Everest Commercial Bank Limited against the security of its office building. So how much is the loan taken? 10 lakhs. Pearl Electronic Limited has taken a loan. What is the name of the bank? Everest Commercial Bank Limited. What has been given as a security? Office building. It is a fixed charge or floating charge? Excellent, ma'am. It's a fixed charge. Can he sell this office building? He can only resell by repaying the loan or by taking the permission of the charge holder. Who is the charge holder? Everest Commercial Bank Limited. Yes, Dhanush, we will be repeating crystallization. Don't worry. Yes, absolutely. It will be loss for the bank, Anubhav. That's why crystallization is required. Absolutely correct answer given for this one. It's a fixed charge. It can only be sold after repaying or permission of the charge. Let's take example number 2, a retail showroom in Lajpat Nagar. So there is a big showroom that this person is running and it has articles like clothes, apparels, footwears, kitchen items. You must have seen when you go to malls, lifestyle malls or other kind of shoppers stop where they have all these kind of varieties of stocks. And it is kept for the sale. Owner of the shop has borrowed against the security of the space. He may either resell or otherwise deal with them in the ordinary course of business. Very, very important line. In the ordinary course of business. Can he take drawings at home? Can he use it for his personal use? He can only utilize it in the ordinary course of business. Customer will get the goods items purchased free of charge. Now, this line is very, very interesting. I just now explained you that when ABC Limited Company has given the office building and the charge has been created against HDFC Limited. So I told you that can we sell it to PQR Limited? You said, no, ma'am, you cannot sell it because PQR Limited either we have to take commission from HDFC or I have to repay them. Clear हो गया? या फिर हम PQR को बोलेंगे, ठीक है, आप we are selling the office building, you go and repay it. But in the floating charge, where Shoppers Stop has taken a loan, and all these apparels, goods, goggles, cosmetics, everything is lined. Will you tell the customer that, look, this is the security of the bank, and if you're buying the goggles from me, then go and repay the loan to the bank? You will not ask the customers. Here, the customer is getting the goods free of charge. Customer का कोई concern नहीं है. Fixed charge में customer is bound. Either you repay the loan or the customer will have to repay. In floating charge, customer gets the goods free of charge. If you go to such showroom, they not even tell you that this is because of the security. Why will they tell you now? Why will they tell you that this is? So the customer will get the items purchased which are free from any charge. Customer doesn't have to go and repay the loans. Smart Shoes Limited manufactures leather shoes. The raw materials, which is the subject matter of the floating, may be used by the company to manufacture without seeking the permission. So here you are manufacturing the goods. Here the raw material. Here the raw material has been given as the floating charge. Then you don't need to take any permission. You can utilize. Here the assets given by the security can be used in the ordinary course of business. Buyer gets the assets free of charge. So what is the key line underlining is ordinary course of business. Yes, absolutely. MCQs can come that the customer gets free of charge or he will have a lien. Absolutely, he gets free of charge. Yes, absolutely, Priyanka. In fixed charges, it is not free of charge. Now let's do crystallization once again from here. So I told you 2 points that if you're breaching the terms and conditions, that point is clear. Dhanush, you were asking crystallization. So if I have taken a loan from you, you're a bank, Axis Bank, and I've taken a loan of 10 lakh, and I've given all my clothes, apparels, and other products which are there in my shop as a security. So Axis Bank told me that, okay, ma'am, you keep on doing your business. We don't have any objection, but repay our loan by 10th of January next year. So till then, make sure that whatever stock is lying in your shop, the value shall not go below 10 lakhs, because 10 lakh is the loan, or maybe around 12 lakhs. But when I was doing the business, I failed to realize that I failed to maintain that 12 lakhs of stock, and now my stock is 8 lakhs. So it has fallen below the terms that with certain terms and conditions were set up. We have breached it. Breach मतलब धोखा दे देना, आपने कुछ term decide करी थी, अब आपने वो breach कर दी है. So now floating charge will get crystallized. Or the company is winding up its business, it's going into liquidation. आप समझते हैं होता कैसे है floating charge crystallized? Floating charge remains dormant until it becomes fixed or crystallized. कहते floating charge चुप रहता है, dormant रहता है, silent रहता है, जब तक आप उसे crystallize नहीं करते, fix नहीं. Crystallization of charges, the security like raw material, fixed assets, stock and trade, is available for the realization so that the borrowed money is repaid. Crystallization may occur when the terms are violated, or the company ceases to run the business, or the company goes into liquidation, or the creditor enforces the security covered by the floating charge. So whenever there is a doubt in the mind of charge holder that, okay, my money is really going down, company is not doing good business, it's going to shut down the business, it is going into liquidation, or insolvency is going to happen, it is not having sufficient assets to pay off its liability, such kind of things, he can enforce the security. He can request them to please crystallize my charge. Now you convert your charge into a fixed charge. Example number 4 से और clear हो जाएगा. Prism Limited has taken a loan from ABC Bank on the security of the stock and trade. So when security of stock and trade is given, it is a fixed charge or floating charge? In the event of Prism Limited failing to repay the security, company enters into liquidation. Floating charge will change into fixed charge. Once the floating charge gets converted, stock can neither be sold nor used by the company in business operations. So this is very, very important. Once you do any kind of breach of contract, once your charge becomes fixed from the floating charge, now you cannot sell it, you cannot use it, you cannot even use it in the ordinary course of business. Otherwise, it says floating charge can be utilized in the ordinary course of business. You can freely sell it, you can convert it into finished goods, we have no. But if you're violating any terms and conditions, so here are the 3 points. When the conditions are violated, when the company ceases to continue the business, or the company goes into liquidation, or the creditors feels that the security can be, utilized by making it a fixed charge, then in these 4 situations, crystallization of floating charge can happen. What is the basic meaning of crystallization? You're freezing the charge. That means now you cannot sell beyond this limit. All right. Let me see if we can do certain MCQs related to fixed and floating charge. So the chapter is small, but yes, it is a little lengthy, but it's very, very basic. So 4th, an interest or lien created on the property or assets of the company or undertaking or both as a security is known as a debt, charge, liability, or hypothecation. Answer number 4th. Miss P is asking only 8 lakh will get. So if the value has already fallen below Miss P, then the value which is left, that is 8 lakh, it will get crystallized. Mr. Kevin has written crystallization has become crystal clear. Thank you so much, Kevin. And here B is the correct answer. That is charge. Priya Mishra, Naina, Shailaja, Pragya, all of you absolutely correct. Rajveer, Dhanush. So B is the correct answer. So what is a floating charge? How does it get crystallized? So such kind of questions can also come in the exam. Define the term charge. 2 marks question for the definition can be there, and along with that they can give you the punishments. So punishments we have still not done. How will a copy of instrument filed? ये हमने नहीं करा अभी. all these questions. No, we cannot do that. We can simply do that respective MCQ that we have done. So let's take a small break here so that you can absorb the information and do that question in a writing test, that what is a floating charge and how it can be crystallized. Think of more examples, which I'm going to ask you after the break. Yes, Priyanka. Once the terms have been breached, they take the decision of crystallization, then it becomes a fixed charge. Means now you're not supposed to use those assets. You cannot sell them. You cannot even utilize it in the ordinary course of business. Clear? So just read this and take a quick revision to acceptance of deposits. Also, after the break, I will take your test. Naina says, अगर floating charge में change हो तो उसे use नहीं करें. खुशी इज आस्किंग टाइटल डीड मीन. टाइटल डीड का मतलब होता है खुशी मेरा कि आपने घर के कागज दे दिए. टाइटल डीड्स मींस ओनरशिप डॉक्यूमेंट्स. सो इफ आई हैव गिवन माय हाउस टू द बैंक एज अ सिक्योरिटी, सो आई विल नॉट pick up my house and give it. I have to give something to the bank so that he knows that okay, Haleen ma'am has given us a title documents, ownership documents of the, हिंदी में बोलते हैं घर के कागज, जो आपके ओनरशिप के कागज है. ठीक है ना? So property papers, all these is known as title. Title means ownership, deeds means document. All right. Which charge method is regularly used, fixed or floating? Harshita, it depends upon the working conditions of the company. So if a company is having a fixed charge easily available, they can do it. But there are a number of other terms and conditions which you need to satisfy when you have to take a loan from the bank. So depending upon the need analysis and all these availability and credibility, they decide which charge has to be used. All right. Yes, it is industry specific. Absolutely correct. Okay, so let's take a small break here and then we do talks. So we are taking a break here. Good, all those who have written that we have read. I'm just taking out the questions for you. Let's have a quick test from the chapter of acceptance of deposits. And Astha, you were having a doubt in section 76A, right? Somebody was having a doubt in 76A, so we are going to have a quick recap. So punishment for contravention of 73 and 76. So what was section 73, children? What was section 73? Quick recap. Acceptance of deposits, doubts, as discussed. I'm going to take that. What was section 73? Absolutely correct. Where the deposits are being taken from the members. And 76 was where the deposits are being taken from the prohibition, not just the prohibition. I told you 73 clearly tells you that it is prohibited to take acceptance of deposits from anyone, but it clearly gives you provision 73 subsection 2 how the deposits can be taken from the members. 76, yes, Rajbir is 76 tells you about the deposits to be taken from the public. If a company accepts or invites or causes deposits in contravention of the conditions mentioned under 73 or 76, then a very harsh penalty is applicable under 76A. Or it fails to repay the deposits. You have taken the money from the members or public and now you're not repaying the deposits along with the interest, then such kind of penalty further time will be allowed by the tribunal, first of all. In addition to the amount of deposits to be paid, a fine of not less than 1 crore or twice the amount of the deposits taken by the company. So if the company has taken a deposit from a member, say rupees 5 lakhs, so it will be either 10 lakhs or 1 crore, whichever is less. So it will be only related to that specific deposit which the defaulter has made. You're not concerned with all the deposits. Twice the amount of deposit by the company means that only restricted to the deposit that you have taken from that particular member or public. And it can extend to up till 10 crore rupees. So what is the meaning of this line? Say, for example, the deposit that was taken was 9 crores. So now twice of 9 crores is 18 crores. So anyways, 1 crore to 18 crore, 1 crore is less. But if you want, they can increase this 1 crore to maximum of 10 crores. As of now, the restriction is only till 1 crore. And officer in default will be liable for the imprisonment of 7 years. 7 years imprisonment can also happen if you have made a default, and also 25 lakh rupees to 22 crore rupees fine can be charged to the officer in default. Also, it is a very important section which tells you that liability under 447 will also gets arisen if you have made any default under the contravention of section 373 or 76. So here what it tells you, if any eligible company is inviting the deposits, okay, here the eligible company is inviting the deposits and it is contravening the deposit rules. Please understand. Here they are talking about the contravention of the rules, then the penalty is this. This is the specific penalty which is related to section 73 and 76 when you have to follow the rules. Rule 2 for the deposit acceptance. In the other 76 penalties where you are contravening and you are making a defaulter, you're a defaulter, आपने cheat करा है, fraud करा है, जहां पे fraud आ गया 447 तो आना ही आना है. Willful intention to deceive the company, cheat कर रहे हो शेयर होल्डर्स को, ये सब कर रहे हो, तब आपका 76 से will become applicable. Clear to everyone? Okay, Priyanka, I hope chapter 3 and 4 notes are clearly visible to everyone now. Only chapter 5 is left. Okay, we'll get it checked why chapter 5 is not there. Okay, let me give you a question now. Acceptance of deposits. All right. So here is the question of test in front of you on the screen. All of you will have to do it. ABC Limited, having a net worth of 120 crores, wants to accept the deposit from its members. Directors have approached you to advise them what special care has to be taken while accepting the deposits in case their company falls within the category of eligible company. Read the question twice. Hint has already been given. What happens? Excellent, all of you. So you simply have to do the analysis of whether it's an eligible company. OR and SR. Oh my God, Rajveer has written about OR SR also if the limit is 180. My God. Excellent. So net worth has to be seen and the or the turnover limit. So here, since the net worth is exceeding, so what will be your answer? Simple answer you have to give since the relevant provisions. Okay, the limits it's just going up. So eligible company is a public company having a net worth not less than 100 crores or the turnover limit of 500 crores. It has taken a prior consent. Absolutely correct. Those who have written SR needs to be passed only if the limit is crossing section 180, subsection 1, subsection C. And then since it's having a net worth limit of 120 crores, accordingly, you will form your answer. It falls into the category of eligible company. It has to ensure that the deposits, together with the deposits, does not exceed 10% of the aggregate paid up capital. Why it is saying that? Because eligible company has a certain specified exemption up till which it can take the deposits from its members. So who is going to give me the limits, maximum limit for an eligible public company? Absolutely correct answer, Mrs. Shalini, Almas, Kushi Mehra, ORSR. Do you remember the limit of 180 subsection 1 subsection C? What was the limit of section 180 subsection 1 subsection C? Where if the limit is within that, OR needs to be passed and it has to be filed with the registrar. Absolutely, Rajveer, Miss Pay. Naina has a doubt in floating charge. Okay. Harshada, okay, all right. Anandruti, Soumya. Very good. Soumya is the first one to give the correct limit. 100% of paid up share capital, free reserves, and security premium account is the limit. If it is within that limit, then OR is required. Above the limit, SR will be required. All right. Wonderful students. So well done. Again, you have made me feel proud that you have revised your acceptance of deposits also well. Few of you are still thinking about the limits, maximum eligibility limit. So it's okay. Next time I'll ask you again. Naina has written a query. I want to ask that when the floating charge is getting converted, why can't we use it after conversion while we already use the fixed charge assets? A great, good question, Miss Naina. I will explain you with the help of example. Let me just open the PPT also. So the moment we are talking about the fixed charge, we tell you that it's a fixed charge, it's a land and building. You can use it, but you cannot sell it. Clear? Floating charge, the assets in my shop are lying, my creditors, debtors, all these people, stock and trade. I am doing my business. I am selling the packets of biscuits. They are flowing in from the manufacturer. I am doing my business. We keep on changing. But then when the floating charge becomes fixed, because there is a doubt in the mind of the creditor that now my payment has become dicey. this businessman, as it, first of all, it has broken the terms and conditions. I have set up a limit of 1,10,000. Your business has fallen down below 80 lakhs. We have set a limit. You are not following that limit. So now freeze it. So here you cannot say that that fixed charge was being allowed to use. I got your question. But here we are freezing the charge. We're not converting just into fixed that now you have become a fixed charge, use it. Because assets, if the current assets you use, then they'll fluctuate. That is the difference, right? Fixed asset will not fluctuate. If I'm sitting in my office building, their depreciation happens. So we have considered that point. When your fixed asset is being created as a charge, all the major valuation will be done by the registered valuer considering the depreciation, that figure will be. Here, my current assets, if I use them, they'll diminish. So they are neither adding nor using. They now have said that please crystallize it, freeze कर दिए. Basically, उन्होंने आपका माल उतने पे freeze करके रख दिया कि now we will take it by custody. You cannot sell it pure. That is why the crystallization happens. Clear? Okay. Now let's move to another section, that is section 77, duty to register the charges. So my dear students, it's whose duty to register the charges? HDFC Bank or ABC Limited Company? Who has to go and get the charge registered with ROC? Who has to go and get the charge registered with ROC? Absolutely correct. ABC Limited, the company will go and have to get the charge registered because it is the company that has given their asset as a security. Now you need to make a public announcement. Public notice has to be given that, look, people, these assets are not freely available. The company has created a charge against these assets. Okay. Garima, Sumesh, your answers are coming. Keep writing down. Okay. Rihanna, all right. Very good. Okay. So all of you have answered it correctly. Company will have to get their charge registered. Every company, it's duty creating a charge within India or outside India. Now, what is the meaning of this line? Within India or outside India? Children, charge is created against the asset. Yes, ma'am. So if I am a company which is running in Mumbai and I also have an office in Singapore, so can I create a charge against my Singapore building with HDFC Limited? Yes or no? Can I create a charge? Absolutely correct. We can have any asset which is placed outside India. I am having its ownership rights. I can give that asset also as a security. The only thing is, who is going to verify? How the verification will happen? That is something which we need to understand. So first point says it is a duty of the company. Charge can be created against any assets within India also and outside India also, on the property of its company or its undertakings. Very interesting line. Whether the tangible assets or otherwise situated in India or outside India. In India, outside India, दो बार ही बता दिया उसने, वो हमें समझ आ गया. Undertakings के assets भी हो सकते हैं, वो भी समझ आ गया. What is the meaning of line tangible or otherwise? Can anyone tell me what does it mean? Tangible asset means the assets which can be seen, touched, moved. So we know land and building, machinery, current assets, all these are tangible. Yes, Priyanka, Soumya, Shalini, excellent. Means intangible assets are also included over here. So in deposit chapter, we taught you that deposits will be accepted only against the tangible asset security. But chapter number 6 talks about all the charges that have been created, how they have to be registered. So it can be against the deposits of the tangible assets. It can be any other things which has been given for the intangible assets. So all these assets, tangible, intangible, and also the financial assets. So it says charge on tangible assets like land and building, machinery, intangible assets like goodwill, copyright, trademarks, or financial assets like investment in shares and debentures. तो अपने shares and debentures भी आप गिरवी रखवाकर loan ले सकते हो. Charge can be created against your financial assets also. Charge can be created against your financial assets. What kind of 3 assets we can give? Tangible, intangible, financial assets can be given as security. Charge can be created within India or outside India. The property on which it is created can also be within India or outside. So if you go and create a charge with bank which is outside India, that can also be done. The property which is given outside India as charge is created, that can also be clear. Everyone is clear on this point. To register the charges signed by the company and charge holder together, creating such charge in the form number CHG1 or form number CHG9. So first of all, it's trying to tell you that, my dear students, whenever you want to register the charges, signing has to be done by the company and the charge holder. Same example, ABC Limited Company and HDFC Bank is the charge holder. They will, together with the instrument. What is this instrument? Any musical instruments you're going to file? Document. Like in deposit, we were making deposit deed. So you make a charge documents, creating a charge. And what kind of documents you have to use? CHG1. If it is other than debentures and respective of debentures, you will be having CHG9. What does it mean? What to register and why? Dhanush, I think you joined the class little late. That's why you're not understanding what to register. We are talking about registration of charges. Charge is a security which is given as an asset to the bank as a security. Now this property papers that we have given as a charge has been created and they have been given to the bank. Now we have to go and inform the ROC that look, this property against which the charge has been created by HDFC. सो हम उसको रजिस्टर करा रहे हैं. चार्जेस जो हमने किसी को गिरवी रखवाया है कागज, वो हम उसकी रजिस्ट्रेशन आरओसी के साथ बता रहे हैं, बिकॉज it's a public notice has to be given. So whosoever is dealing with the company will be aware that all these properties of the company are mortgaged with somebody else. Or clear, Dhanush? I hope now you have understood. So for debentures, now if I have taken the borrowing and the form of debentures and I have given a security, then what form I'm going to use? CHG9. Any other security which I have given other than debentures, I have to give it CHG1. Very good, Soumya. CHG1 is for any other security other than debentures. Excellent, Priyanka Pandey. For debentures, we use CHG9. So both these forms, I'll be showing you CHG1 form also together and CHG9. So second point was that these forms have to be deposited with ROC on payment of such fees as may be prescribed with ROC on its creation within 30 days. So what are the three important points? I'm going to highlight the three important points now. Number one important point is every company is going to get this charge register. The assets can be tangible or otherwise, which we have just done over here. That can also be financial assets, intangible assets. Third point is the asset can be in India or outside India and charge can be created within India or outside India. Fourth point is the form CHG1 to be used for other than debentures and form CHG9 to be used for security in case of debentures. And point number 5 says that what fees have to be paid as may be prescribed means whatever ROC will tell you that fees we have to pay. So as the fees prescribed in such manner within 30 days, very, very important provision. So if I have taken the loan on 1st March 2025 from HDFC Bank, then by what time this loan shall get registered with ROC? By 30th March 2025. This is the ultimate date. Within 30 days, you have to get this loan registered with the ROC. Good. Everyone is in. 1st April, okay, Khushi Mera. So if you're counting from 1st, 31st March we have. So 30 days will be 30th March, you will get it registered within 30 days. Okay. Everyone is clear on these points. So what is the time period? Within 30 days, you have to file. Basically, in short, you have to file CHG1. Other than debentures, CHG9. For debentures, within 30 days of the creation of charge, you have to file it with the ROC. Now, verification of the instrumental charge. How I told you the property which is situated inside outside India, how the verification has to be done. So who is going to verify this copy of every instrument which is creating or modifying the charge? So one is creating a charge, another is modifying the charge. What is the meaning of modification? you have created a charge against the security and now you want to modify the terms and conditions. Then we will be using a separate form for modification. We file CHG1 with ROC. ROC will also be giving us the certificate of registration in CHG2. We file another form for modification. ROC will give us form for the certificate of modification. Okay. So copy of instrument creating or modifying the charge requires to be filed shall be verified. Who will verify these instrument or documents? Solely for the property situated outside India, it shall be verified by a certificate which is issued under the common seal of the company or with the director's signature or company secretary or an unauthorized or any authorized person of the charge holder. Okay, let's hold this word for a minute. This authorized person of the charge holder or any other person other than the company who is entrusted in the mortgage. This is also very interesting. So now my property was situated where? In Singapore. Okay. So here the property is situated in Singapore. And you are going to get your charge registered in Maharashtra because your office in Bombay. How the verification of this document? This document and title deeds of this document which are outside India. This document that you go and get registered with ROC shall be signed for the Singapore property, shall be under the company seal. या तो ABC Limited का ठप्पा लग जाएगा company seal. Or director or company secretary has signed. Or any other person other than the company who is interested in this mortgage or charge. Who will be interested in this mortgage? Bank. Authorized person on behalf of the charge holder. So if you are not signing, you are not available, somebody authorized person from the end of the bank, that is the charge holder, can also sign this document or deeds because he wants to be assured that tomorrow if the company fails to give my money, this Singapore property papers are actually registered with us. So ROC के पास registered कराने वक्त सर्टिफिकेट पे जो सिग्नेचर देना है वो कंपनी सील पे हो सकता है, डायरेक्टर और सीएस भी कर सकते हैं. If they are not available, they're traveling, then the authorized person of the charge holder can also do that. Or whosoever is interested in the mortgage can also do that. But where the property is situated inside India only, there the copy will be verified under the hands of director or company secretary or authorized officer of the charge. Here the common seal is not necessary. Here you have to have the signatures of the director or company secretary or authorized person of the charge holder. Another important point over here is whether wholly in India or partially in India. Now this is very interesting. So I was giving you a property situated in Singapore. You understood that it has to be verified by these 4 categories. I gave you a property which is in Mumbai. It has to be signed by directors or company secretary or authorized person. Now, how can be my property half in there, half here? So I decide to give you 2 securities. One is my property, which is in Singapore, and my other assets like my cars, bikes, which are in India. So here it is partially outside India and partially inside India. Then also we will follow this provision, that is second provision, which says that has to be signed by director or company secretary or any other authorized officer of the charge. Any other person who is interested in a mortgage cannot be considered in partially and wholly India wale case. Outside India, then under the hand of some other person other than the company who is interested. That can also be applicable. Clear? Now, how the charge gets registered, what is the timing, how the timing matters. This is your whole beautiful story from where the question comes. So duty to register the charges is how the charges have to be registered. CHG1, CHG9 form I will be showing you. Property can be inside or outside India. How the verification of the documents can be done for these properties, we have understood clearly. Now we are going to see the time period. Original period within which the charge needs. So what was the time period I told you, Abhi? Within 30 days? Everybody agree with that? What happens if it is not done in 30 days? That is what we're going to understand. The original period within which the charge needs to get registered from the date of creation is 30 days. But say, for example, you were busy, the companies, MDs, directors are having weddings at home or they're flying to abroad. they're not available, and something happened where you need an extension of time limit, it was not able to do in 30 days. If in any case you want extension of time limit and you were not able to register your charges in 30 days, then what will happen? This is what we're going to answer. Then there are two situations. One where the charge has been created on 2nd November 2018 before this date. Another is for the charges created after 2nd November 2008. For the charges which were created before 2nd November 2018, the charge has to be registered within 30 days of its creation. Within 30 days. Here also, after 2nd November 2018, within 30 days. So first provision is common in both the cases. That is, the charge needs to get registered within 30 days of its creation. Now, before 2nd November 2018, there was a clause that if this charge is not registered, then a period of 300 days was given from the creation on payment of additional fees. Means now you have a big time of 300 days. You can take 300 days and you can take your time around an year's time in which you can get your charge registered. But my dear company, you need to pay additional fees for that. So if you ask me how many days after 30 days, so it is basically 270 days more. Let's understand with the help of a dates example. So say, for example, the charge was created on 1st October 2017. By what date it shall have been registered if I'm talking here about before 2nd November? It should be registered by 30th October 2017. If I have not done it within 30th October 2017, then it says 300 days starting from 1st October. Either you count 270 days from 30th October or you count 300 days from 1st October. So who is going to give me the date for this one? Within, if I need extension for this date, within how much date? 30th October is fine. That is for the first one. So what is the date after having 300 days? If you have included, give me the correct date. You don't forget to take 30, 31 days of December, 30 days of November. So you will have to calculate. You cannot calculate directly with the months calculation. When days are involved, you have to do proper calculation. Pragya has come up with 20th May. Anybody else? 17th, 1st October. So 1st October is the date. You have to count. Yes, Priyanka, 300 days from that date. So please count it. So only Pragya Agarwal is given the date 20th May. What about others? Count the date, children. 30 days of October, then November. Basically, you have to count 10 months. Mota mota. October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. How many months? Tell me. 27 July. I don't know, Pragya, why did you ended up in May only? Naina says 27 July. Almas says 27 July. Anybody else who has computed the dates? Yes, now everybody has come to the correct date. So by 27 July, have you understood? So that's what I'm saying you, Pragya. Why did not you include October? So if you're not including October, then you have to calculate 270 days. If you're including October, then from 1st October, you have to calculate 300. Okay, Anushka, Kirti, everybody has given the correct answer, 27 July. Then by 27 July, you will have to get the charge registered by paying the additional fees. If still 27 July tak aapne nahi register kara, then please register within 6 months from 2nd November 2018. Now the date has come that you all have calculated, that is 27 July 2018. My charge is still not registered with ROC. So amendment came on 2nd November 2018, which said that all the charges, please register them within 6 months time period by paying the additional fees. Different fees was set up for different class of company. So 6 months time period was given, otherwise your charge will get nullified, it will not get registered. That was your earlier provision. Yes, calculation and law also, that's interesting, right? All right, good. Till Jan 2019, how come you came? Do it in your free time now, okay? Okay. So everybody's clear for the provision 2nd November 2018. What my dear students have to remember, registration has to be done within 30 days. If not registered in 30 days, then additional 270 days or 300 days from the date of creation. चाहे आप date of creation से गिन रहे हो तो total 300 days है. अगर आप defaulter day से गिनोगे तो 270 days. If not registered in 300 days also, then within 6 months from the 2nd November 2018, pay the additional fees and get the charge test. क्लियर. ये तो पुरानी प्रोविजन थी 2 नवंबर 2018, तो कब का खत्म हो चुका है. अभी आज की डेट में कौन से चार्जेस चल रहे हैं. When the charge is created after 2nd November 2018, then register the charge within 30 days. Is clear? And you have to pay fees whatever ROC tells you. If not registered within first 30 days, means here I have given you 30 days. So let's take the same example. 1st October 2019. Okay, you were taking that date for the 6 months. That was also correct. All those who have taken. So from 1st October 2019, so by 30th October 2019, the charge should have been registered. If it is not registered in next 30 days, that is 60 days from the creation of charge, then with the additional fees, you need to get your charge adjusted. Listen very carefully. If not registered within first 30 days, then you get additional 30 days, means total 60 days from the date of creation of charge. So you get first 30 days here, then you get additional 30 days here. If still not registered in the next 30 days, then a period of 60 days more with ad valorem fees. First is you register the charge within 30 days, pay the normal fees. Otherwise, within 60 days, pay the additional fees. If not registered in 60 days also, then another 60 days is given by paying the ad valorem fees. What is the meaning of ad valorem fees? Ad valorem fees is kind of a fees that is charged on the percentage basis. Means, for example, you go and have a cup of coffee at a cafe and the coffee is for 100 rupees. On that, you have to pay 18% GST. So what will be your total bill? 118. If you had a coffee of 100, then 118. If you had a coffee of 1000, then your bill will be, tell me. Let's do some calculations today in law. Huh? Coffee at cafe, you are doing ad valorem fees. You are understanding what is the meaning of ad valorem. Very good. 1180, absolutely simple. थोड़ा जगाना भी होता है ना आप लोगों को साथ में. So 1180. So when I had the coffee of 100 rupees, then ad valorem fees means the rate remained the same, but the price changed 118. यहाँ पे 1180 because my quantity that I've taken or consumed, the price payment changed. Similarly, ad valorem fees is the percentage figure, percentage rate fixed on the amount of loan taken. So if your loan is 1 lakh, then whatever percentage they have given on that, you have to pay. If your loan is 5 lakhs, 50 lakhs, then on that respective percentage. So whatever is the amount, accordingly, you will have to pay the ad valorem fees. कहने का मतलब है कि additional fees तो एक fixed हो जाएगी ना. कि आपने suppose, let's take an example that you were to register in 30 days by paying a nominal fees of 100 rupees. This I'm taking an example. It's not 100 rupees. Don't learn it like this. Suppose it was 100 rupees. Then it was said, and additional 60 days, pay 200 rupees more. Then it said, additional 60 days, pay at the rate of 15%. So here rate is given. So whatever is the amount of loan, you will have to calculate at the rate. If somebody has taken a loan of 1,000, they will have to pay 150. If somebody has taken a loan of 100 rupees, they will have to pay 15. So depending upon the amount of loan, ad valorem fees is the percentage, which is depending upon the amount of loan that is taken. Everyone. So before 2nd November 2018, the dates that you have to take is 30 days and 300 days and then 6 months. After 2nd November 2018, 30 days with normal fees, next 30 days with additional fees, then next 60 days with ad valorem fees. That is how you have to learn. 120 days with no, Priyanshi Tak, it's not 120 days with ad valorem fees. Let me just clarify to you once again. So what you have to do is, children, so I get the charge created on 1st October 2021. By what date I should get it registered? Everybody is with me on this. By 30th October, that is within 30 days. Within 30 days, I should get the charge registered. If not registered till 30th October, then another 30 days. Within next 30 days. Here, what fees I have to pay? Here, I had to pay with the normal fees. Here, I had to pay the additional fees. Now, if it is still not done, so can you count, children? 60 days happen from 1st October and 30 days is the intermediate period. Now, within how many days? Further period of 60 days with that volume. So 30th November, 1st December to 30th December is your 30 days. 31st December till 29th January will be your next 30 days. So if you count from 30th November, 60 days, it will be 31 days of December. And how many balance you have to take? Tell me. 29. Am I correct? So 29 January 2022. You have to, that is within next 60 days, you will have to get the charge registered. Here you have to pay the ad valorem fees. Write it down in your notebook so that you don't have any kind of doubts. If you're doing it on 1st October, then yes. If the date 31st, one date we have missed over here, so it should be 29th November. So automatically one day back we'll go. So 28th January. Clear now, everyone? Absolutely. Kushi Mera, Mamidi Sethi, Soumya, Anushka, all of you, good. Yes, Priyanka Pandey, Priyanshi, absolutely correct. Okay, Naina, good. Everyone is clear. You can note down this so that you don't forget the dates procedure. Now the procedure for extension of time limit, how we are going to seek this extension. Company will have to make an application to the registrar in the prescribed form. So what was the form? If you're using debentures, CHG 9. If you're using other than debentures, CHG 1 form. For seeking the extension of time period. The said application has to be supported by a declaration from the company where the company secretary will sign it. Okay? So you have to give a declaration signed by the company secretary that this late filing will not affect the rights of my intervening creditors of the company. Now, this is something very, very interesting and important. Okay, Ms. Soumya, just remind me after we are done with this point, then we'll go back again to that. Okay. So procedure, now I could not register my charge in 30 days. So I will extend it for another 30 days with additional fees. I could not pay within those days also, then additional 60 days with ad valorem fees. ये वाला सबको समझ आ गया ना? Clear है ना? अब वो कह रहे हैं आप 30 days से अब actually में 90 days की extension ले आए हो. You have extended it beyond 90 days. Please make sure that your creditor doesn't have any problem with that. Who is my creditor? What is this charge? Where were we in the chapter? A charge was being created against the HDFC Bank. It is property which has been given in his name. He is holding as a security. He is my creditor from whom I have taken the loan. It is important for him to know that the charge is registered so that tomorrow I cannot sell it. ROC is very well aware. It's a public document now. So bank is my creditor, absolutely correct. So now this bank should not be affecting the rights of the bank. Bank should not have any problem. You have to take a declaration signed by the company secretary or a director that this late filing is not affecting the right of my intervening creditor. So whosoever creditors, they can be a property which is mortgaged against 2, 3 people also. Remember, pari passu charges also we have done. So there, whosoever charge gets registered first will get the rights on that. So all these intervening creditors are very much bothered and sure that you get this charge registered so that tomorrow if you are a defaulter, ROC knows that you have borrowed the money. Okay? Dhanush, Miss P, Priyanka, absolutely correct. So you have to give, so if examiner asks you what procedure has to be done for extension of time limit, there you have to file a declaration to be supported along with form CHG 1 and 9. A declaration has to be given signed by company secretary or director that such late filing is not affecting by the rights of the intervening creditors. Now comes your important point of certificate of registration. So you went to the ROC. If the charge was before 2nd November 2018, then you took 30 days, 300 days and additional 6 months by paying the additional fees. Whatever fees has to be given, it is for different categories. After 2nd November, 30 days and additional 60 days. Now what is ROC going to do? When you have submitted CHG 1 or CHG 9, ROC is going to give you a certificate of registration, where the charge or modification is newly filed with Registrar of Companies. Now, children, listen very carefully. I told you there is a form CHG 1 for securities other than debentures, CHG 9 for debentures. You are ROC. I am coming with this form CHG 1. Please register my charge. And after registration, you will give me CHG 2. I am a security other than debentures, so I will give you CHG 1. After registering the charge, you will give me CHG 2. At the same time, if it is a debenture security, I will give you CHG 9. And you will give me, what will you give me? Tell me. What certificate? Yes, certificate. What certificate? Okay, Nidhi, we will do ad valorem fees once again. CHG 10. Harshita says CHG 10. Why? Did I tell you that CHG 10? Yes, Miss P. Again, वो चार्ज रजिस्टर करके जो सर्टिफिकेट आरओसी ने देना है वो देता है आपको CHG 2. I am a company. I am using different from CHG 1 and 9 for debentures and other debentures. And whenever my charge gets registered, ROC will issue me CHG 2. Mr. P. Mujamid says, good evening, ma'am. हिंदी बोल सकते हैं? हाँ जी बेटा, आप हिंदी में अपना डाउट पूछ लीजिए. आपको जो नहीं समझ आया मैं आपको हिंदी में बता दूं. बट सारी क्लास हिंदी में नहीं चलेगी. आपको जहां नहीं समझ आता आप पूछ लीजिए. ठीक है? So everybody is clear on that. Now I told you that this form CHG1, ध्यान से सुनना. This form CHG1 and CHG9 that I'm using, this is for debentures and other than debentures. This is also the form which I'm going to use for the modification of charges. This is also the form which I'm going to use for the modification of modification of charges. So at the same time, when I give you modification of charges, then you give me the certificate of registration in form CHG3. Now you take 2 minutes and read this, and then I will explain. Everyone has read it? So certificate of registration means the certificate which is going to be issued by ROC. the certificate of registration, which is going to be issued by ROC. Where the charge or modification is registered with ROC, registration or modification certificate will be issued by ROC in CHG 2 form for the registration, fresh registration if it is done. Under section 77 you have done, what is 78 you have still not done. And CHG 3 will be used for the modification of the charges. The certificate, once it is issued by the registrar, is the conclusive evidence that requirements of Chapter 6 of the Companies Act and rules have been complied with. Dhanush, you were asking why we have to go to ROC. Here is your answer. This is the reason that you have to go to ROC, because ROC will tell you that yes, your charge is absolutely registered. They will give you the conclusive evidence, means वो आपको certificate देंगे registration का कि आपका charge बिल्कुल Companies Act की provisions को follow करता है and आपका charge अब registered. हिंदी में CHG का मतलब बताएं. निधि कह रही है CHG का मीनिंग क्या होता है. सो निधि, हर चैप्टर में फॉर्म्स हैं. प्रोस्पेक्टस में जो फॉर्म्स थे वो थे PAS, दैट इज द एब्रिविएशन ऑफ द नेम ऑफ चैप्टर, प्रोस्पेक्टस एंड अलॉटमेंट ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज. ये मैंने नहीं बनाया है, ये कंपनीज एक्ट ने आपको फॉर्म्स दी. हर चैप्टर के इंडिविजुअल फॉर्म्स है. इनकॉर्पोरेशन में आपने INC फॉर्म्स करे थे. ये फॉर्म्स होते हैं जो कि आपको ROC के साथ रजिस्टर्ड कराने, लीगल रिक्वायरमेंट. शेयर कैपिटल में आपने SH फॉर्म्स करे थे. डिपॉजिट्स में आपने कौन से फॉर्म करे थे? यस क्लास, डू यू रिमेंबर? हरी आप. DPT1, DPT2, all these forms. And for charges, Nidhi, हम form use करें CHG. So it is an abbreviation taken from the word charges. So उन्होंने क्या करा है, charges का C ले लिया है, H ले लिया है और G ले लिया. तो चैप्टर के जो नाम होते हैं टाइटल्स में से, उसी में से छोटी एब्रिविएशन बनाकर फॉर्म्स के नाम दिए गए. ओके, चार्जेस फॉर चार्ज. यस सुनील कुमार, एब्सोल्युटली गुड. निधि, क्लैरिफाइड योर डाउट. अच्छा, एक और कौन थे जिनको नहीं समझ आ रहा था? यस मिस्टर पी मुजाहिद, इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट आप हिंदी में पूछ सकते हैं अगर आपको कोई डाउट है. Rest everyone has written crystal clear, so that's wonderful. But let's have a quick recap. If it is, so we are company is going to file CHG 1 or CHG 9. 1 is for other debentures, 9 is for debentures. ROC will issue CHG 2 for, tell me quickly, fresh registration, or ROC will issue CHG 3 for modification of registration of charges. Everyone is clear on this. Can we move forward? And the last section 77, subsection 3, subsection 4. Before doing that, I think I should show you the forms also. Why the forms are not available? Right, just a second. I don't know why it's not opening. All right. So when you go to the MCA website, you get all these kind of forms. It is open a form, but I think this is not the correct one. So these are the checklists, but I think this is the instruction kit. This is not the correct form because the form will have the... Okay, don't worry. Maybe later on I'll try to show you. Let's complete the topic and then we'll see the forms, okay? Meanwhile, I'll give you some time also to absorb the information. So no charge created by the company will be considered by the liquidator. Now, what we're going to do, consequences of non-registration. Okay, memory is asking about the ad valorem fees. Okay, let's first complete the ad valorem fees. So ad valorem fees basically means the percentage of the fees, like the percentage of GST that we charge. So whatever is your bill, the rate remains the same, but whenever the bill varies, the amount of the fees gets varied. So if you have had a coffee of 1,000 rupees, 18% GST, 1180. If you have had a coffee of 10,000 rupees, then it will be more variation in that. So depending upon the amount that you are having of loan, on that certain percentage is calculated as the ad valorem fees. Clear? So ad valorem fees varies from company to company depending upon the amount of loan. Okay. Somebody was asking here also. So the last point of 2nd November 2018, it says that if you have not still filed within 300 days, then 6 months time period will be given from 2nd November 2018. What is that 6 months time period? November, December, Jan, Feb, March, April. So by 30th April, 2019, you shall register your charge. Otherwise, what will happen? That is what we are going to understand. Consequences of non-registration. अगर आपने चार्ज को रजिस्टर नहीं कराया तो मान लिया जाएगा कि आपका कोई भी चार्ज नहीं, notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force. So it says the charges is not just for this is we are understanding from the Companies Act. So for any other bankers or bankruptcy code, any other acts which are over there, with respect to that, no charge will be taken into account by the liquidator who is appointed by the companies. So who is the liquidator? First, let's discuss that. Who is a liquidator? When the company goes into liquidation, a liquidator is appointed who will sell off your assets and pay off your liabilities. He's going to complete the process of your liquidation of the company. So now, if in my balance sheet, I'm showing fixed assets of rupees 1 lakh, this is my office building which is appearing in the balance sheet. On the contrary to the same, the charge should have been appearing in the ROC registration that the charge has been created. But no charge was created, no filing was done with the ROC. Now liquidator will go and sell off this asset of 1 lakh. ऐसा ही होगा ना, अगर तो चार्ज क्रिएटेड है फिर तो वो बैंक से रीपेमेंट की बात करे. अब अगर चार्ज दिख ही नहीं रहा है, it has not been created, then he can sell off my asset. So here, no charge created shall be taken into account by the liquidator. Means if you have not got your charge registered, then liquidator will sell off your asset. Or any other creditor, it is duly registered and a certificate of, let's complete from here. No charge created by the company shall be taken into account by the liquidator appointed under the Companies or Insolvency Bankruptcy Code or any other creditor unless it is registered under subsection 1 and certificate of charge has been given by ROC under subsection 2. So if you have not registered the charge, then who is going to be in trouble? Who is going to be in trouble? Yes, Anubhav. If the charge is not created, excellent, Miss P. Those who are attentively listening have replied bank immediately. Sangeetvani. Very nice, Sangeetvani. Excellent, Soumya. So bank will be in trouble. So that is why, my dear students, section 78 will tell you that don't go into this non-consequences. If you don't register, I will go and apply to the registrar because I am in a problem. My bank will be in a problem if my charge is not registered. If company fails to register the charge, the bank will go and get this charge registered by themselves. So here we will just understand section 77 subsection 3 and 4 tries to tell you that if the charge has not been registered by the company, then liquidator will not consider it in his books. He will say saying that it is free of cost, free of charge. He can sell the asset. Nothing in subsection 3 shall prejudice any contracts or obligations for the repayment of money secured by charge. So any money which has to be repaid, that will not be affected. Any contracts that you have made for the repayment, that will still consider into consideration. But the charge, the property will be considered as free of charge if ROC is not having your documents. Another important consequence of non-registration is that charge holder loses his priority. Now, there was an office building which was registered with HDFC Bank and with Axis Bank. So the charge of Axis Bank gets registered first. So who will get the first priority? Even if the Axis Bank has taken the later charge, but still the Axis Bank will get the first priority because their charge is registered with ours. So here the charge holder will lose his priority because your charge was not registered. Then Axis Bank will first get the money. HDFC Bank will have to wait. पैसा उनका भी मिल जाएगा. But benefit of registration of charge, whosoever charge is registered will be given. So I give you 2 minutes break over here. Just read this topic, last two topics that we have done, and then we'll proceed. Let's take a small break here. All right, students, I hope you have read the provisions. Let's have a quick recap from the module also. Registration for creating a charge. The property and assets can be tangible. Can we create a charge against goodwill of a company? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Hurry up. Absolutely correct. Can I create a charge against the shares and debentures, investments of the financial assets? So the word otherwise used but has a wider meaning. When the charge is created by deposit of title deeds, normally a bank agrees with the mode of charge instead of proper mortgage. It is also considered as registrable by the borrowing company. So absolutely correct. Tangible and intangible assets, financial assets, they can be used. Can we have only the property in India or outside India? We have covered this point. Outside India also there. Registration by the charge holder, see, it has clearly written explained later, which we are going to do in the next class, how the charge holder gets registered. But we will just read it that in case the borrowing company fails to register the charge within a period of 30 days, then the lender will get the charge registered. Why? Because we just read that section 77 subsection 3 says he will lose his priority. उसका तो पैसा है ना, उसको तो पैसा मिलना है उस एसेट में से. So if you don't get it registered, he will go and follow section 78 of the Companies Act and he will get this charge registered. Registration by the purchaser, section 79 will tell you how the purchaser will get the charge registered. So that is separate section that we will cover. But how to get registered? First, within 30 days of the creation, verification of the instrument will happen if the property is situated outside India, under the seal, directors of CS, authorized officer of charge holder, or any other person who is interested can also do. But if it is, see how beautifully Institute has shown you pictures. So here plane has been shown outside India, but where it is in India, there only the authorized officer of charge holder, director or CS, they can only. In case the instrument deed solely related to the property situated outside India, then the copy additionally verified by the certificate issued under the hand of some person other than the company is also required. This type of verification is not possible when the instrument or deed relates to the property situated in India, whether wholly or partially. वो कहता है कि जब बाहर है, उस केस में आप किसी और से भी करवा सकते हो other than company से भी, because what is important is that you have to get the property papers. So here the property is outside India, other than company, whosoever is interested can also do. But this is not possible in case the property is situated inside India. Yes, absolutely, Harshada. There can be some objections. When we do the satisfaction of charge, your question will get answered. Yes, yes, निधि बिल्कुल उसी की बात हो रही है. जो भी आपने इंटरेस्ट प्रॉपर्टी पेपर्स है उसको चार्ज में रजिस्टर कैसे कराना है उसके बारे में. एक्सटेंशन ऑफ टाइम लिमिट का फिर हमने देख ही लिया. 2 periods है. Everybody is clear on that. This also we have discussed. Let me see if we have any examples over here. Some other page. So section 77, issue of certificate of registration. What certificate of registration has to be issued by ROC if it is a fresh registration certificate? Which form will be used? Forms did not open today. I'm going to show them in the next class. CHG2, absolutely. And if it is a modification of charge, then which form has to be filed by the company in case of modification of charges? Shailaja and Priyanka, listen to my question first. Sunil Kumar, no wrong. What I'm asking, listen to that. I'm asking if I am a company, I want to file a form with ROC for the modification. Which form I am going to file? ROC is going to give me a CHG3 for modification. That is correct. But my question is something else. Yes, Soumya, absolutely correct. Filed by the company, it will be CHG1 in case of other security, CHG9 in case of debentures. Arun Kumar, absolutely, Sangeetwani, Anushka, Alma, सब. तो ध्यान से एग्जाम में भी MCQs 2 बार पढ़ना है कि क्या पूछ रहा है. Many a times हमें क्वेश्चन आता होता है और हमें लगता है कि यही आंसर है. So what tip I have given you for MCQs? Read the question twice. Don't read the options. Think about the answer that comes to your mind. Then read the options and correlate. Okay? Then you will never do it wrong. Yes, Priyanka Pandey, absolutely. That is the only game that I have to find you from there. So Section 77 will not apply if any changes, charges which are prescribed in consultation with RBI. So where the bank has to play a role, Section 77 will not apply to those kind of charges. Okay, we will not be starting other sections as of now. But I have a question for you. This is deposits. We have revised deposits also. We have taken a test of deposits also. Why it is late. Yes. Section 78 इसमें पूरा टाइम लगेगा हम ये नहीं करेंगे इसको भी. Yes, let's test your knowledge. How will a copy of an instrument evidencing creation of charge required to be filed with the registrar be verified? Think about it and let's see if you can find out the answer. What comes to your mind? What does it tell you? Under section 77, when we have learned about CHG 1 and 9, I told you a copy of instrument, एक document जो कि बताता है कि चार्ज क्रिएट हुआ है अगेंस्ट द प्रॉपर्टी सिंगापुर बम्बई. Now it has to be filed with the registrar. How its verification has to be done? Miss P has given the correct answer. Absolutely correct. Rajveer, Priyanka Pandey. Do you have knowledge about charge? Certificate of charge. Rajveer, what are you writing? I'm asking. Who will verify it? We just did this question. So this is your answer. The copy of instrument which is evidencing any creation or modification, it has to be verified, filed with the registrar, will be verified. If it is a property situated outside India, then wahi teen bande, director, company secretary, company seal, or any other person authorized officer of charge holder. Sirf isme ek additional person hai under the hand of some other person other than the company who is interested, but in the mortgage. But if the property is in India, then only the first three persons can verify. So such a trade questions do come in the exam for 3 marks. And if you write such a kind of proper answer, which is there of green, you easily get 2.5 to 3 out of 3. Briefly explain the provisions enforced by the company's Amendment 2nd Ordinance 2019. When the charge created before 2nd November 2018 is not registered within the prescribed period of 30 days. What will happen if the charge is not registered in 30 days, where the charge is created before 2nd November 2018? It's a very easy question. Feel free to cheat from your module and answer me, but at least I should know that you have come to know about the correct answers. 300 days, absolutely correct, but you have to write the full provision. 300 days, the next 300 days, or 6 months. So this is how you will write. Every company creating a charge on its property, whether tangible or not, has to get itself registered. Where the charge is before 2nd November, it was not registered, then application will be made within a period of 300 days of such creation. The charge has to be registered. If it is still not registered, then a period of 6 months is to be allowed. That is also to be given. Punishment for default, we have still not done, so we cannot do this question. So I think this much information is sufficient for today's class. Now, last 2-3 minutes are left. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Sangeet Vani, Mabidasi, Anushka, Shailaja, all of you have given wonderful answer. Memory, Miss P, Harshida, good children. So very well done. Any doubts? Anybody having any doubts? So the forms, I don't know why the forms did not open. Otherwise, we would have seen the forms today. सुनील बाद हम मूवी लिखेंगे 6 months वाला point. Okay. Yes, Ma'am Sethi, with additional fees. That is correct. All right. So no doubts, children. I think let's stop till here. In exam MCQ question में भी explain करना होता है. Nidhi, no, you will not have to write the justification. Simply you will have to find the correct MCQ. Nidhi, आपको सिर्फ correct MCQ find करना होगा. एक्सटेंशन ऑफ टाइम लिमिट में somebody is asking, वो एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए. एक्सटेंशन ऑफ टाइम लिमिट में आपको ये देखना है कि जो आपके क्रेडिटर्स हैं उनको कोई उनसे डिक्लेरेशन लेनी है कि उनको कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं है कि अगर हमने चार्ज अभी रजिस्टर नहीं कराया और हम नेक्स्ट 60 days में या 30 days में कराएं. सो वो आपको डिक्लेरेशन साइन करके देंगे दैट यस वी हैव नो ऑब्जेक्शन. सो बेसिकली इट इज अ नो ऑब्जेक्शन सर्टिफिकेट टू बी टेकन फ्रॉम द बैंक. ओके. All right. Thank you so much, students. I hope you enjoyed today's session and wonderful answering sessions you have done. So as I always tell you, keep revising your work, whatever we have done in today's class. And thank you. Thank you so much, all of you, those who have written so nice wordings. Thank you so much. Even I really enjoyed the session with all of you. See you all in the next class, that is day after tomorrow. But please remember to revise and come prepared with all the number of forms. All right. Okay, sir. Yes, Manish sir, we are done with the session. Yes, sir.